Ronnie, what's the hardest you've ever been hit in your career, whether in college or the NFL?
I think, if I can remember correctly, I think it was Brian Urlacher. It was a game that we played in Chicago, and we were winning, and it was 4-minute phase, and we were just trying to run the clock out. So we ran the same play a few times in a row, and one of the guys got through on the D-line, and I tried to spin off and just back into the end zone, and he hit me in the middle of the back, and I promise that's the hardest I've ever been hit. My legs just stopped. I fell on my knees. I was like, oh.
Did you say anything? Could you say anything, or was your body just frozen, body and mind?
It just, when he hit me, my legs stopped moving. I fell on my knees. He knocked the breath out of me. I was like, God. But in my mind, I'm like, all right, you got to get up. You can't let him know it was a hard hit. So I was like, but in the huddle, I was like, oh, my God, I never got hit like that.
All right, you guys get the Baltimore Ravens this weekend. Of course, there's no Ray Lewis, but there's Suggs. What has made that defense so punishing for so many years?
Well, I think it's just the talent and the way that those guys play together. And even when Ray's not in the game, his effect on the football team and, his leadership that he has and, all the ways that he affects the team along with the talent. It's hard to beat a team like that when they're close-knit. Everybody's on the same page. They're all pulling for the same cause. That you got to be able to take advantage of when you get opportunities and make the best of them.
Jared Johnson give you any tips on how to go ahead and scout this defense?
Nah, I haven't asked him yet. Maybe I'll ask him. I'll nudge him a little bit during the week. But, I think we all know one thing about that football team. They're a physical bunch of guys. And, you got to be able to match that physicality as long as, as well as, being able to match their intensity level. And I think if you do that, along with our talent, I think we'll be all right as long as we execute the way that we're capable of. Then, I think we'll be fine. But at the same time, you can't give them anything.
Last thing, Ronnie, I know the season hasn't gone for you guys the way that you intended it, the way you wanted it to go, and there's still time left. And the question I get asked is, how do you keep this locker room together? How do you keep the defensive guys from pointing fingers to the offense and vice versa?
It's simple. I think the biggest thing is just be a professional and handle things the way that you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to show up the same way to work every day, ready to work. This is your job, and, you got to take advantage of your opportunities. This doesn't last long being in the NFL. And, if you take that approach and you do what you're supposed to do and be where you're supposed to be, I think everything else take care of itself.
Thank you very much.